What are the following people known for? Well, he's known for being a talented actor, his nice smile, walking on water, nice smile again, random person who I don't know, stopping dragons from passing bridges, and, oh, of course, they're all known for having gray hair. I know, it was really obvious, right? But how did their hair go gray? The FASCB has proposed that hair becomes gray from a hydrogen peroxide buildup inside the follicle. Usually the enzyme catalase keeps this molecule's levels in check by breaking it into oxygen gas and water. Yet as people age, the catalase levels decrease, causing hydrogen peroxide accumulation and gray hair. Perhaps if there was more catalase, would there be less gray hair? Therefore, in this experiment, we are testing how different catalase concentrations affect catalase activity and thereby affect the rate at which hair turns gray. So the independent variable is the catalase concentration, specifically 50, 75, and 100% concentrations. Perhaps the answer is simple. If the catalase concentration is increased, then more enzymes could catalyze the hydrogen peroxide substrates at the same time, thus increasing the rate at which hydrogen peroxide is broken down. This will lower the hydrogen peroxide levels and result in less gray hair. To test this hypothesis, we first created 3 catalase concentrations of liver juice to water ratios. Next, we soaked a paper disc of the enzyme, stuck it to the wall of the reaction chamber containing hydrogen peroxide, and attached the stopper apparatus to the chamber. Then we placed the stopper apparatus tube inside the graduated cylinder and flipped the chamber so that the H2O2 and catalase would come in contact. Finally, we recorded the volume of oxygen gas every 30 seconds and repeated it for each catalase concentration. This table shows the average volume of oxygen gas produced across 3 trials for each test case. It is evident that the 100% catalase concentration produced the most oxygen gas, while the 75 and 50% concentrations resulted in the same lower volume of oxygen gas produced. In addition, the calculated average oxygen production rate is higher in the 100% concentration than in the 50 and 75% concentrations. These observations are evident in the slopes and values on the following graph. So what happened at the molecular level to produce such results? Well, in the first step of the reaction, hydrogen peroxide binds to the active site of the highly specific catalase enzyme according to the induced fit hypothesis. It is then broken down into water and oxygen. The oxygen atom then reattaches to an iron atom. The remaining water is released. Now the catalase breaks down the second hydrogen peroxide into water and oxygen. The water is again released, and the oxygen binds with the originally formed iron-bound oxygen atom to form oxygen gas. Thus, the overall reaction releases 2 water and 1 oxygen gas. Now that we know this, we can understand why the results agree with the hypothesis. This is because as catalase concentration increases, more oxygen gas is produced in a given time period. Therefore, as catalase concentration increases, more hydrogen peroxide is broken down at a faster rate. But it is important to note that only the 100% concentration had enough change in the concentration to increase the oxygen gas production. In more depth, the decomposition of hydrogen peroxide is a catabolic reaction, which is exothermic, exergonic, and spontaneous. Yet, it requires many catalysts in order to speed up the reaction by lowering the reaction's activation energy and increasing the probability of enzyme-substrate collisions. In relation to gray hair formation, this means that the more catalase is present, the more hydrogen peroxide will decompose more rapidly, thus decreasing the amount of hydrogen peroxide available to cause gray hair. With this newfound knowledge, people may no longer need to spend tons of money on expensive hair coloring products and treatments. Instead, once further research is conducted, taking catalase enzyme pills may become a cheaper, practical method of reducing gray hair. Although this experimental design was very time-effective and the procedure was easy to carry out, more accurate observations could have been collected if the amount of catalase on the paper discs was more controlled. In addition, determining the exact concentration of catalase in the 100% concentration could allow for a better analysis of results and more detailed further experiments. The next steps of this experiment would be to research possible catalase concentrations safe for human ingestion, and the possible effectiveness and safety of these methods requires further questioning.